Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Philly sports talk morning show with Chris, KJ, and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of the Sip and Sports Podcast. A very, very exciting episode this week as we get ready to preview the NFC Championship for you guys between our Philadelphia Eagles and those rotten Washington Commanders. They can't even make up their name of what they want to be called, but we'll get into all that later. Just a quick overview of what we got on tap for today. Going to do a Flyers playing around 500, talk about the Sixers just getting blown out again, and then last but not least, as I mentioned, give an NFC Championship game preview. But I mean, real quick, both you guys were there last week. How was the atmosphere? How was the environment? Snowball.
Absolutely hammered. I was absolutely shit-faced hammered. Watching Saquon Barkley run away into the snow is probably the best experience I've ever had at a sporting event. I've been to numerous Phillies playoff games. I went to multiple Eagles playoff games, multiple 76ers playoff games. That game, watching Saquon Barkley run away like that, pouring down snow, that's the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. I know you guys went to a couple NFC Championship games, so it might have been a little bit louder there. But just seeing him run away, my favorite player from college, watching him on the Philadelphia Eagles now, and snow game, doing what LaShawn McCoy did years ago in a playoff game. Row 2 was just beautiful. Wouldn't trade that for anything. It was amazing.
Yeah, Chris is right. I mean, it was surreal for sure. I mean, getting to see a snowball. I mean, we thought at first, we were like, oh my God, like it looks like it's going to be a soggy bowl because it was like raining and sleeting. So it was kind of confusing because I was hearing from other people like back in my area. They're like, yeah, it's actually snowing back here. And I'm like, they're like, is it snowing at the stadium? And I'm like, no, it's like raining and sleeting right now. It hasn't snowed yet. So then it started snowing around like the second quarter, I believe, or maybe the start of the second half. I forget. But once it did, I mean, I think it added a lot of like nostalgia and just like a lot of just like great memories, as Chris said before. I mean, it kind of got you some flashbacks from like when Shady McCoy was going all over Detroit. And it was funny because Stafford was the quarterback for Detroit back then, and then he gets to play in his second Snow Bowl game, and not in some kind of order or anything like that, but he happens to play for another team now. It's the Rams, and we're playing them in that NFC. We're playing them in that NFC playoff game. So it was really cool. It was a moment and a game I will never forget as an Eagles fan. It was just me and my buddy Constantine. I mean, it was awesome. Something that we'll never forget for sure. So it's a great time. Snow Bowl 2.0. Couldn't get any better than that.
It looked amazing from your guys' photos, from everybody's photos online, and you guys brought that energy. So thank you for that, because LA sent them back. I mean, they've been checking their boxes each game, and Sundays, like we'll get to here in a second, is the most important this year. But hey, the most important game this year is actually for Matt Bear tonight at 7:30 as the Flyers get ready to play the Islanders. Anyway, The point is, the Rangers actually, before yesterday, the Flyers were on a 3-game win streak. They were actually playing decent hockey for the past week, but they've been in and out and in and out. So, Chris, I'll let you take it first. I mean, besides the emotional roller coaster that they've put you on, do you have any sort of faith with this team that we had some hope with in the beginning of the year?
No, but I don't really care. Like, it's just, this is a whatever year, and it's fine. They're showing flashes. They need to learn how to play as a team. I think that's kind of what they're doing right now. They show they have some ability here and there. They still need to get some more pieces, obviously. So, these little moral victories, though, it sticks with teams. Matvei Michkov is getting some very valuable playing time right now. He's 20 years old. Like, a lot of this is just some development. They're in a much different situation than a team like the Eagles or Phillies are. We're in that start of the rebuild. Now, it feels like there's been a rebuild going on for a long time with the Flyers, but it feels like they finally started that real rebuild a couple years ago, and they're in it now. And I feel like they are progressing pretty well. And I'm not sure if you guys been to a game lately, but they're still really fun. I went with my wife Monday. Might have been one of those days. I think it was Tuesday. And they won in overtime. It was a really fun game to go to. We got ourselves some beer hockey sticks, which I didn't know were a thing, but I got them. So that was fun. Yeah, we'll see what the Flyers keep doing.
Can you get the hockey stick while KJ's talking? I want to say this thing now. This sounds badass.
Yeah. I saw it for other teams. I think like St. Louis got it now, and some other teams have incorporated it as well. But yeah, it's like the same thing what the Phillies do with the beer bats. So it's a pretty cool thing. Hopefully Chris gets it pretty soon.
He'll get it. Yeah.
How
are you feeling about the Flyers though, playing 500?
Hey, I mean, they're doing better than the Sixers are doing right now. So I mean, oh, there we go. Look at that.
Oh, that's so. It's almost like a McFlurry spoon.
Yeah,
the problem
kind of
is like trying to drink out of it. You're like hitting the person in front of you with the hockey stick.
I mean, in Philadelphia, maybe that's intended for the visitors, right?
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, I'm gonna put it somewhere in my bar, but yeah,
that's a really creative thing that they did. Yeah, like Chris said, they have a good environment there. KJ.
Yeah, we were just saying how like in the for the Phillies they have the beer bats and everything like that too. So it's pretty cool that some other teams are kind of incorporating that. Maybe the Eagles will start to have like beer footballs. We can just kind of like, they have like the chug jugs or whatever it is, or those.
Oh, but there you go. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So like a little like a football or something. You just like chug down a football. I mean, that'd be kind of crazy, but we'll see. Or maybe a helmet. Yeah. You know what? Like a helmet drink. That'd be kind of dope. So, but yeah, I think with the Flyers, I mean, as I said before, they're doing better than the Sixers. And I mean, like, even though it's a different sport, but yeah, I mean, Chris says it, even for them, it's fun. I mean, it's a fun game still, and I think the team and the fans know that it's a rebuilding process. It's also kind of like a dud of a year, so I mean, they don't really expect too much. But yeah, I mean, just developing the players, Mishkov and all the other young players they got, so they're just trying to develop them and see what happens.
Yeah, they better buckle up because I think it's going to take longer than we thought is what we're starting to realize. Everybody was up and down about the Flyers, and I think what we're starting to realize now is, hey, they aren't as developed as we thought that they are. We had a teacher at my high school, a gym teacher, that always used to say, need a little bit more seasoning, men. And that's what I would say about this hockey team. They need a little bit more seasoning. A little bit more seasoning is a nice way to put it.
And this team needs a million times of seasoning.
They need a lot of seasoning.
Yeah, burn the whole dish and start
this
over.
Team, Dalton, you ever seen that commercial where the I think it's a kid and they're asking for like Parmesan or whatever on their like spaghetti or something, and the waiter's just like doing the Parmesan, and you see a mountain of Parmesan. That's what the Sixers need right now. They need a mountain of luck or a mountain of something good, because it is just beyond awful. And it's just an embarrassment to the city of Philadelphia right now. It's a total embarrassment, and it's annoying as a basketball fan to just see this team just be awful. And I mean, we have I'm pretty sure we don't have any All-Stars this year. I'm pretty sure we don't, if I'm not mistaken, because they just did the All-Star voting. I mean, I'm pretty sure, and I don't think anyone here deserves an All-Star spot because we've just been mediocre. So it's weird to not see Embiid in there and taking the game seriously, because That's what he'd be doing, taking the All-Star game more seriously than the regular season. But it just sucks. I mean, having those kind of scenarios where you feel like your star player doesn't want to take things seriously, and it's just annoying. It's really just frustrating. I'll tell you that. So, I mean, they're getting blown out a bunch. I think they got blown out recently by the Nuggets. I can't even tell you if they had another game. I don't think they had another game last night, but I think they might have one tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, we'll see. I don't even know if they're going to – yeah, they're playing tonight. They're playing the Cavs. So, and that's kind of funny because me and Dalton were actually at the Delaware Blue Coats game yesterday, courtesy of a job fair I was at. So that was pretty cool. I mean, just to kind of see for the first time for Dalton as well. They were playing the Cleveland Charge, and that is actually the affiliates of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Chris, guess who was playing for the Cleveland Charge?
Mr. Peanut Allergy himself.
Yep. Zare Smith. Yep.
You don't even know how to say his name because he sucks.
Yeah, you know what? He doesn't even deserve me pronouncing his name correctly. He doesn't.
He fucking stole Michael Bridges from us.
Yep, exactly. Even me as a Georgetown Hoyas fan, which we finally beat your team. Finally did it at Finnegan at the Finn. Finally did it by 1 point, so I'll take it. I think it still gets like 10 years to do that, but I'll take it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I did not see it.
Yeah. No, I know. That's how grave a fan he is.
Didn't have these last two or 3 years from Villanova don't count. They're fake.
But yeah, no, it was interesting seeing a familiar face like that, and it was pretty cool. I mean, Dalton got to go to his first game. I guess you could say a professional game, semi-professional game in Delaware. So that was kind of a cool experience, right, Dalton?
Yeah, very much a first. The only thing I have to really say about the Sixers is bravo, Sixers fans and organization. Bravo to the Sixers fans, the real ones that stick with this team. Bravo to the organization. I say that sarcastically because any of those fans, you're even running them out. Like the way that you treat the fans, the way that you treat this team, it's such a bad product. People are pissed. So I don't know that I'll spend $6 or $3 on a ticket, but that's really only so I can go to Chicky and Pete's and hang out with my friends. That's the brutal truth. I'm not going there to go see the Sixers. Flyers, I'll go there to see. Sixers, I'm literally, it's like a cover at a bar. I'm paying a $5 or $6 cover is literally the way I look at the ticket. And I hate to put it that bluntly for all my real Sixers fans out there, but I mean, poor KJ is going to have to suffer.
It's sad, man. It's just
on the
sad.
Post game. God bless this guy. I wish the team was better for you.
I mean, we're still trying to find a time to do it because like it's just so depressing right now. We want to actually start it in like a good tone right now. We want to start it on a good start. We don't want to start it off like a really bad like losing streak. So, I mean, once they start getting back on track, we'll probably start it up and we'll see when it does because right now I'm too depressed to really do it. So when we do get to it, I mean, I need a couple wins under my belt and then we'll be like, all right, you know what though? I'll wait for the depressing times and I'll actually be able to go through it now. So
it'll get better, Mac. Yeah. Mark my words. Mark my words. But hey, you're right. Let's talk about a Philadelphia team that is impressing though. For what we've been waiting for all year. I know the three of us broke the news when it first happened about Saquon Barkley, and well, we've been waiting since then. NFC Championship Game Preview. Our house. Chris, I'll let you take this one first. What are you most excited for? What are you most nervous for? And I mean, what does it mean to see an NFC Championship game again? Because they don't come that often either.
Well, unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles, who it seems like has the most NFC Championship appearances in the last 10 years.
In our lifetime, yeah, I would say.
2000, yeah.
Like it's really incredible how many NFC championships we've been to at this point. This in this generation, I guess decade. Yeah, that's what it would be. I'm very, very excited for Saquon Barkley. I'm excited to watch Saquon Barkley play. I'm excited to see what the defense does. But I am just extremely, extremely nervous about the devil magic that the Commanders have. It just feels like, some random lucky shit happens to them every single week that, wins them the football game. In Tampa Bay, they had that fumble out of nowhere from Baker Mayfield. If that doesn't happen, they lose. There's, in Philly when Frankie Louvu takes it, or I guess that was in Washington, but the Eagles game where Frankie Louvu takes out Jalen Hurts. There's they had what else? They had multiple. They had a Hail Mary, a missed field goal, block field goal, something like that. They've had this like devil magic this whole year where they've just barely been getting by, and I just figure that that's going to happen again this week. I feel like the Eagles are so good, like head to toe. They should beat this team really, really bad, but they're just not going to show up. Like I feel like I'm psyching myself out for the game because they're like the Eagles just have so much talent and they really should stomp this team. But I could just see it going the other way because that's all I've known as an Eagles fan besides the Nick Foles year, which was an anomaly, and they had the black magic then.
Now, the one thing I wanted to ask too, I think I mentioned this. I know I mentioned it to Havens. Would you be less comfortable if it was the other way around where the Commanders beat us the first time and then we beat them the second time? So we would be coming off of the win rather than the loss. Because I actually think that plays to our benefit personally.
I mean,
Slightly.
I don't really look into that other loss too much. I know that's what Commanders fans keep going back at.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at that game, if Jalen Hurts played another 5 minutes in that game, it's a blowout. The game's over. What was it, 21-0 or something when Hurts went out, or 21-7? They were controlling that football game. If Hurts stays in that football game, if Gardner Johnson doesn't get thrown out of that football game, it's a blowout. And we're not talking about anything right now. I mean, hell, the Commanders might not even made no, they still would have made the playoffs, but Commanders would have had a different path. So I don't look into that game too much. And really, even the first game, you don't look into too much. This is a different football team at this point in the year. And it was a different football team for the Commanders too. So you just got to focus on this game. Jalen Hurts needs to not turn over the football. When he doesn't turn over the football, they do really, really well. That's what they need to do.
That recently, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
But I mean, Chris is kind of right though. I mean, if you think about it, this Washington team is not a pushover. I mean, they're not a pushover. I think they also have some vengeance as well. I mean, they hear a lot of the doubters out there. They hear a lot of people calling them underdogs. A lot of people calling them the non-favorites. But I mean, here's the thing though too. I think the Eagles know the moment. I think they know how important this game is to Eagles fans, how important it is for them, especially as players and this organization. So I think the Eagles will step up. I do feel like the talent of Jaden Daniels, and I was saying this on the show on Wednesday, and I got a lot of heat for it from Ballpark because he's like, oh, KJ's a Commanders fan. But I'm just keeping it real, though. This kid, Jaden Daniels, is something else. And I'm dead serious. For a rookie, I mean, just the veteran presence he has and the poise he has where he doesn't get flustered, he does not get rattled, is really impressive for a rookie. And it just seems like he's been in the league for a couple of years, but he hasn't, which is crazy. So, and I mean, if you ask a bunch of his teammates that were clowning him at Arizona State and asked them if he was going to go to the NFL, I mean, they would have said, no, he's probably going to go to the UFL or something like that. He's probably going to play there. But the dude was like a top 5 pick. I mean, he's legit for sure. So I think it's going to be a true NFC East battle. And I'm glad that it's against the Commanders because I feel like, you know what, as Chris said before too, a lot of the Commanders fans are talking a lot of crap about that last game, really kind of saying to themselves, patting themselves on the back, really trying to act all macho and everything like that because they just beat us. And they beat us by 3 points. But they don't realize, though, that they're not remembering when they say this, that Jalen Hurts got hurt. That CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Devontae Smith dropped the ball that he never
dropped.
dropped.
I was about to say that. Yeah, Devontae Smith dropped the ball, which he usually catches. I mean, it's not like Jalen. It's not like Kenny Pickett threw it to Nelson Aguilar. It's not like he threw it to Jalen Reagor, Chris's favorite Eagle of all time.
Don't mention that name. That's a trigger.
Yeah, I know. But that's how it really is. It's funny how they've taken this game. I mean, they took the last game and they really have ran with it and made it seem like they are the more superior team, which they're not. But I think, as Chris said before too, I mean, like, if the talent shows up, if the players show up, we can win this game. We can win this game for sure. If they don't show up, though, they're going to beat themselves. And I think that's the main thing. They're going to beat themselves, and that's what's really going to hurt them because, yeah, if Jalen has some turnovers, it's going to be a problem. But I think if you honestly, and I think people, even if we do beat the Commanders, which I think we will, people are going to be like, oh, well, Jalen Hurts didn't have a great stats. He didn't have the greatest passing game. You know what, though? Here's the thing. We've kind of identified ourselves as a team this year as a running football team. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I know we have two great receivers on both sides with Devontae and AJ. But I'll say this, though. It's great to actually involve the run and use it as like a key factor, I feel like. So I think that's the main thing. And I mean, if we give the ball to Saquon, he has a crazy game like he did last week, which the Commanders defense is not, I think they're like ranked 18th or something, if I'm not mistaken, around the 10th or something like that in defenses in the league all season long. So I think they're going to try and contain Saquon. Are they going to be able to? I think Saquon's going to have a great day. I think he's also going to just go off. I think he's going to know what's at stake. And I think he's just going to like go off. So it's going to be crazy to see him just have a great game. And I'm excited. I'll be there, and I'm pumped. I'm excited, and I'm also nervous at the same time because, as I said before, this kid Jaden Daniels, he's something else. You got to give it to him. Yeah.
Going off of that, I mean, that's one good point too, because last time we played, he had 5 passing touchdowns on us.
Yeah.
81 rushing yards. So he's a real threat. I think a lot of people sleep on him, including the Giants. I just had to say that. I had to bring that one up too, because you see the clips of the Giants organization and you see how sharp Jaden Daniels was. Obviously, there's so many athletes out there, right? If QB was all about being athletic, you would see a lot different QBs. But main point is it's about awareness. It's about IQ and athleticism. How does it all balance together as one product? And when you look at Daniels, he's a very sharp kid. Knows football, knows the plays. Like, you see the film of him, and when I guess it was Dabble was saying it back to him, he's like, all right, mention this back to me. He pretty much nailed it except for one thing. And he just met the guy. And these guys are like throwing it at him fast. Like, he didn't know he was going to get quizzed like it. And he was pretty sharp. So I think for the Commanders and Commanders fans, it's like this. Hey, it's been a fun ride, Cinderella. It's been cool. It was cute. But, now's your time to hop off the ride. You guys have a bright future. You don't have anything to hold your head down about. Like, if Eagles fans are telling you that, the people have busted your balls for years because you guys have been just as irrelevant as the Giants, you're actually getting some respect from us. But like Chris said, I mean, the Eagles should win on paper. They're the better team, hands down. So this one's a no-brainer for me. I got the Birds. I actually think that the Eagles this should be a similar NFC Championship, I feel like, to the 49ers. It's so close in time. It was only 2 years ago. But not only that, like, I looked at the weather, and weather-wise, it's going to be very similar to that day. It's going to be cold, but it's going to just be clear skies and sunny.
There's going to be a ton of wind, though.
There's going to, which I think that there was in that game, too. Which, whatever. I mean, Elliott, you better be practicing all week, brother. But my main point is, yeah, you figure out how to use it, but easier said than done. Main point is NFC Championship game at the Link. If you're there, you got to get loud as hell from start to finish. Like, I want the Commanders, when they're on the bus, to just be like, wow, this place is fucking nuts.
Oh, I won't have a voice. I will not have a voice.
NFC Championship game ever at the Link, at least that I know of in my lifetime that I can remember, where it was 2 NFC East teams playing in the NFC Championship. Might be wrong on that. But as far as I know,
I think the Eagles played the Cowboys in the NFC Championship once.
How old were we?
Not born.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I meant like at least in my lifetime at the Link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any at the link where it's been? So look, this is going to be
Well,
our lifetime.
Are you saying the ones that we've lost, or are you saying the ones that we've? You're saying the
lost
ones
or played in? I don't know if there's ever been an NFC Championship where we played East.
Wasn't the Buccaneers when Rondé Barber did that?
NFC East.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I think
East.
I don't think they have because McNabb was like the Buccaneers was 1 year.
Falcons was another.
Falcons they beat.
The Packers, I think, maybe
Packers,
even 1 year
Packers,
they played deep in the
Vikings.
playoffs, divisional
and the Panthers
maybe.
The Panthers as well.
Panthers was one of them too.
Yeah, none of them were. Yeah, none of them were NFC East.
First time, pretty much.
I think it's rare.
Fucking nuts.
Because most of the time they match up in either the divisional or wild card. So
hitting it home, the main thing I wanted to say in my last point, if you're at this field, it's never going to ever be this loud for a long time. It's so rare, like Chris just said. So if you're at this game, go ape fuck. Go bonkers. Go crazy. I don't care if you have to work the next day. I don't care what you got going on. The team needs you. Do it.
Yeah.
Get thrown out.
I will not have a voice at the end of the day.
KJ, get thrown out.
I'm not getting thrown out.
Get thrown out.
I am not getting thrown out. But yeah, I will not have a voice for a couple days. I mean, that's how loud I'm going to be. I'm going to be super loud, and I'm just ecstatic for it. But yeah, I think Dalton also, it's funny that he mentioned the whole thing of like the NFC East matchup for this NFC Championship game. I remember for a couple of years, I don't know if you guys remember, the Seahawks and the Niners were always doing that kind of thing with the NFC Championship games. They were always going back and forth, and they would have these kind of matchups. So I feel like, hopefully, I mean, are we like the next Seahawks and Niners kind of thing, like in these next couple of years? I mean, is this going to be a reoccurring thing where we see the Commanders in the NFC Championship? I hope so. I mean, that would be awesome. And I think it would be even greater for the rivalry as well. So I can already see in Commanders fans' faces, like they're actually like, I can already see like in general, they're actually starting to have like a hatred for us, and even more of a hatred than they had for us ever before. I think it's also this game too. I think it's the magnitude of this game, but I've just noticed a lot of them are just really having this just anger towards us. And I mean, I get it, but it's just like, I think it's because we're close vicinity. I mean, I guess that's one of the objects, I guess you could say, but
they've been our little brother for the past 15 years. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we used to own I remember me and Dalton and Jack went to that stadium 2022, the year that we made the Super Bowl. And if you think about it, I think it was more Eagles fans there, right, Dalton?
Well, I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah.
As we were walking out of the stadium, I think it was me or KJ, one of us two. I think it was me. I was rubbing my ass with the rally tower, something that they gave us. And I'll tell you this. And as we were walking out, I was like, oh, it's the Commanders organization, to a trash can. And like at the Giants stadium, when we were doing that, like I'll give Giants fans credit. They would at least say something. Like they would at least bust your balls and have something to say. They'll give it back. Commanders fans, like if they were even there,
they come up with some dumb response. It's never a good comeback.
They have a dumb response. That's weird. And it's like a weird response. It's not even like a catchy response. It's just like something like that makes no sense. It's like nonsense. So I mean, that's what I hear a lot from some of them. Not all of them, but I do remember that. I mean, they were kind of asking for it that stadium though, because at the stadium they have trash cans that had the Commanders logo on it. So it's like you're kind of
it was a layup. I hear you.
Yeah. So it was a total layup. I mean, they were just setting it up for us for the shot.
It is what it is. But hey, if any of you guys are going to be there at this game, send us footage, shoot us a DM. I mean, I want to see it. I want to see what this atmosphere is going to be like, because at least in my experience, my loudest game was the Vikings NFC Championship game 2017. Just because it was such like a drought, I think like it had been so long since we experienced that. It was like, holy fuck, like, wow, we're actually here. That's why I think like a lot of Eagles fans, I don't want them to take it for granted. Like this may not happen again for a long time, Eagles fans. So like enjoy the moment. That's what I love about playoff football in Philadelphia. It's like everybody's in a good mood, which usually they're not in Philadelphia. They're usually very short. And not only that, but it feels like nobody really does anything at work too. Like the world just moves a little bit slower and people enjoy life a little bit better when the birds are deep in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Give me another Super Bowl, please.
Right? Oh my God. I mean, how crazy would you guys go for that parade?
Oh my God. Oh, Matt, I'll actually be able to drink this time. KJ and I were
True.
we were 17.
We were 17. We were 17.
I think I was 18. So I guess I could have drank.
Yeah,
but
we were 18. We were
Not
18.
worth getting an open container though, or something at the
Yeah,
parade.
we were 18,
Yeah,
so it wasn't. Yeah, like I talked to Dole about it too a little bit. Like it was a little different for him because I mean he was in college, so it was a little different. I mean he was with his friends or whatever. But like I was like with my family when it was happening. Like when I went to the parade.
my one friend keeps like wanting to plan something. I'm like, I can't plan anything. I don't even want to talk
knock
about
on
it.
wood, right?
I don't even want to fucking talk about it. They got to play the Commanders first, which is not going to be fucking easy. And then they have to play either the Bills or the Chiefs, which is not going to be easy. So, I mean, I don't want to speak any parade or anything yet. So, well, I'll start talk about parade when 0-0-0 hits, and there's that, and Jalen Hurts is holding on to the trophy. Until that happens, there's no parade talk.
I will not go to that loser parade that I went to when we lost to the Chiefs. Though I can never do that ever again. That was just depressing.
You went to a loser
find
parade?
footage from that.
Yes. So it was when Dalton was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this parade they're having?" He's like, "We need some footage," and I was like, "All right, well, I'll go."
I don't think that I said we need some footage. I don't
You
think
did. I remember. I remember
did I
you
say
did.
that? I'm sure.
Yes.
I think you were like, "Hey, I might go to the parade," and I was like, "If you want to go. Yeah. We could use the footage."
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I don't know if I would have ever.
Would you go
the
to
one thing I probably
parade?
said was, I remember that.
You know what? The Eagles deserve to lose for having a fucking losers parade.
Go live after a Super Bowl loss because you'll gain followers because everybody wants to say, "Oh, Eagles lost." So I remember I went live right after the Eagles lost to the Chiefs. That was crazy. Everybody laid it on me. Dallas Cowboys, Chris, Cowboys beat came in and said something. All of our friends, I mean, just laid it on.
Something will be getting broke if they fucking lose this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very risky game because like they should grease the polls and prepare downtown anyway because like Philadelphia's going to riot either way. You know what I mean? Like this is either going to be the last straw, I feel like, for a lot of fans with these Philadelphia championship teams, and they're just gonna fucking lose it and flip some
I
cars.
can't wait till we come in Monday and we're gonna be like, oh, let's fire Sirianni. He sucks. After they've done great the last half of the year. They're gonna lose a game close somehow, and everybody's gonna need to get fired then. And these guys aren't good enough. That's all we're gonna hear after they lose. And it's gonna be the most annoying fucking shit in the world. It's like these guys have played their asses off. If they lose to the Commanders are a good fucking team. Like, would they win 12 games this year or something like that? Like, they're a good football team. If they lose this game, it's not the end of the world, and they shouldn't just press the panic button. Getting eliminated in the first round is something different. You're going to the NFC Championship. If you lose, you lose.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get a lot of heat if we do lose for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, hey, you know what? As Chris just said, the Commanders are a decent team. And I mean, like, that's just how it is. And if we don't show up, then we don't show up. And that's how we go out. But yeah, I agree though. I mean, like it's annoying because like for some reason our fans just are like quick to react and they're just going to start to say stupid crap. And it's going to be really annoying for sure. I mean, I'm not looking forward, if it does happen, not looking forward to any of those. I might just not even listen to the radio for weeks. I might just, just listen to some music.
Yeah, you might have to shut it off.
I'm going to shut it off probably because I can't.
Mom's coming out with a new album soon, so maybe we'll get a 24 Bird song.
There you go.
Just some song that someone was saying they're going to release if the Eagles go somewhere. Someone was saying that recently.
Well, like Chris said, don't release shit until 0-0-0. The last thing I want to say is this. Like I said, I mean, it's either going to go 8-fuck because people are going to be pissed that it's the last straw of like this whole Philly team era that like we haven't really gotten a championship besides that one Eagles Super Bowl that some people argue was a fluke. Or the other thing is people are going to fucking lose it because they think we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. One or the two. I'm waiting I still haven't seen the article. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm shocked that they haven't increased the polls yet. I guess that will come tomorrow because I haven't seen anything yet. And usually it comes by now.
I'm sure they're going to. I don't know. The mayor can't even spell Eagles right, so who fucking knows?
That was and then like she addressed it like you can't.
Oh, now she's making it like a joke,
it
like
right after you didn't spell it right.
Yeah, she's making a joke out of it. People are making hats out of it too now.
But she just you when you were done with that chant, you should have went back up on that mic and been like, wait, let me get this right. Like you knew you spelled it wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like in the moment, you gotta just. When I first saw it, it was like, I don't know if you guys were sitting there and you're looking at your phone and it's one of those moments where you're like, you see ELGSES and you're like, oh my God.
I thought it was just one of the crackheads again from Kensington.
Like, is this
real?
Like
every year. We see that shit. We see that shit with like some drunk fan outside the stadium doing that shit. Not the fucking mayor. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You should know how to spell Eagles. It's like the one thing we know how to do is spell Eagles. You should at least know how to do that.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but in the city, though, another team made a mistake. What happened? As you can see.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Yeah. Let's talk about this real quick. Yep. Do you think this is real? Because I think it's planted.
It could be an old photo, too. Yeah. Like, sometimes that's one thing I've seen. Fans have done it. I think it's real, though.
Redskins stuff. Not
but really on the bottom from what I saw though, it did say Commanders on the bottom.
But that's probably the easiest part to Photoshop though, is that little
Did it say HHTC? It said hail to the Commanders. Yo, Adrian HHTC.
Yes.
Yeah, but I feel like that's probably the easiest part to Photoshop out of all.
Probably.
So it could not be real. I'll say this. Real or not real. I'm happy that they did it. It feels like every time that they did it during that 2017-2018 run. So anything that worked then, pull out all the fucking tricks.
That was dispelled at some point though. Like some team did it and then they
the Chiefs did. Didn't the Chiefs do it?
Was it the Chiefs or was it?
It might have been an Eagles fan that did it.
Put a Kelsey
Chiefs, like on purpose.
Well, that's just it. If this is that same thing happening again and not a natural, like if a Commanders fan did it, then the jinx is on. Yeah. If an Eagles fan did it, they fucked us. And whoever that Eagles fan is should be dealt with by Big Dom.
I think we need a 24-hour surveillance camera.
Yeah, they need
outside the Rocky statue, like
zoos,
YouTube
like
live
stream
cameras
or whatever. Those
they have to have,
or just put the fucking portal down there. Why not? I'm sure people would love it by there. That would be quite the spectacle.
I think we should put the portal at Kensington and Allegheny.
Yeah. Oh, shit. But, guys, that's all we got for you guys. If you guys are going to be at this game, like I said, please shoot us a DM. Other than that, hope you guys all have a good weekend. And I pray next weekend when we see you guys, we'll be getting ready to preview the Super Bowl. Knock on wood, though, for all of us.
Let's go,
Other than that, though, hope you guys have a good weekend. And please make sure to follow Chris at Chaos Chris PHL. Please make sure to follow KJ at official KJ McCoy. TikTok's back on. It's on like Donkey Kong, so we ain't going nowhere for now, at least. But make sure you follow all of us on Instagram as well at Sippin' Sports Pod. That way you stay connected to everything we're doing. And other than that, go Birds.
Go Birds.
See you guys.